guys, and we're here with a brand new video. Today I actually want to talk about something I actually bought. So before I go into what I actually bought, which you might actually know from the title anyway, but before I get into that, I want to give a little bit of context. So I have always been a Marth main in the Super Smash Bros. Series. Of course, when he first came out in Melee. Now the thing is, I've always struggled to find something collectible in regards to the characters, such as like an action figure, a figurine, or something like along those lines. So I was pretty happy when Nintendo actually introduced the Amiibo. So I was actually pretty happy when Nintendo released the Amiibo for Marth, and I was able to finally have something to collect in regards to the character. But soon after that, or actually before that, I'm not quite sure when exactly this came out. But I actually missed out on the first run. It was sold out immediately, super quick. So they actually finally restocked it on Amazon, and I decided to go ahead, jump in, and purchase it. Without further ado, I want to go ahead and talk about the Marth Nendoroid. Going into the actual character. So first discussing the box. So as you can see, I already took him out of the box. And before we even begin as well, I do want to apologize for the sound. I seem to have misplaced my mic and I cannot find it at all. But no worries, I actually have a better one coming in pretty soon. Alright, so starting off with the actual box, so you can see this is number 567 of the Nendoroid figures. I'm not sure how to spell it, and I also pronounce that, sorry. I also did mispronounce that at the beginning. It's not Nintendoroid, it's Nendoroid. So, going with the back of the box, and you can actually see the wording right here, Nendoroid. So going over the box, you can see that he is fully interchangeable. He actually brings a few different pieces with him, which you can then modify to suit him to your liking. I actually have a similar stance, similar to this one. We have him right here. Let's go over that real quick. All right, so this is the actual figure. As you can see, he is really high quality. The details are quite amazing. I'm not going to actually interchange the parts in this video. The reason being that it was actually a little bit difficult to let me actually put this in the back. There we go, better focus. All right, so he was actually a little bit difficult to set up. The reason for that being is he is a little bit sensible in the sense that all the parts actually fall off pretty easily. So he is a collectible figurine, so it's definitely not something to be playing around with the fear that it could definitely break. So here we have this little slashing effect that you can actually put onto the sword, and then I should put that on there. I equipped him with the Fire Emblem shield, so you can get some additional better effect. There we go. So the shield is actually pretty detailed. You can see it has a lot of different little emblem pieces, as well as the design, the Phoenix design, more or less. All right, and then that's the face I actually put onto him. So going over the other different pieces, so we have a little smiley face for him. Changing him is pretty easily. You just remove the hair piece, and then it actually allows you to remove the facial piece structure. And then the sheath is also fully removable, as well as you can actually put the sword into the sheath, which is a nice effect. Actually fits really nicely. So let's go ahead and put him down and go over the different other additional pieces. So I actually have the pieces in this little baggie here, since it's a little bit easier than having to access the box all the time. So this is the other face. So you can see this is more or less how it looks like. Oh, one of the arms came with him. So it's actually it's hollow, so it actually goes in pretty easily onto the character. Then besides that, it also brings the instruction manual in case you do need some help, and it actually goes over the different pieces included as well as how the base works and the arm to hold the figurine. Now the thing is, it also has some different little spots, you can see in the picture. These different spots are different locations you can actually place the character. So actually we go over here you can see the little dots in the actual base, and I just place them in this last dot just to be able to fit them there correctly. This arm is fully adjustable, so depending on the pose you do choose for your character, you can actually place them in the appropriate spot so that he fits nicely on the base. Alright, so putting him down once again. So besides the instruction manual, let's go over here so you actually see those in detail. We have a standard wrap here, pretty nicely. These pieces are a little bit on the smaller side, so you definitely need to be careful not to lose any of them. And then we have the standard broad sword. Alright, and then besides that, he has different little arms you could use. For example, this one is more or less him with his hand open. If you wanted to maybe put his sword on the back and then have him sort of holding his hand out. But in this case, I did equip my figurine with the standard arms to hold the shield as well as a sword. And the way that works is, let me see if I can actually zoom in here, is the arm actually is, you're actually able to place the sword in the arm there, as you can see. So they're both separate pieces, they're not together. And then the shield, I think you could have probably seen it by now, but the way it works is that it actually has a little hole in the arm, which you then place the shield through the hand. Sorry, not the arm, the hand. And as you can see, the arm is fully adjustable. You can place it to whatever position you like. And the way the base actually works as well, now that I have him here closed up, is that there's actually a little hole here in which this control arm connects. Now, it was a bit of a struggle to put him on. You do need to use a little bit of force or kind of wedge him on there. And it is a little bit difficult to remove him afterwards, because when you do remove him, this spot actually disconnects, and then you actually have to kind of force this piece off. So just keep that in mind, because at first I actually misplaced it, and then the belt was kind of over the hole and over the arm, and it didn't really seem right. So I actually decided to just kind of fix it up. And then the cape is also fully adjustable, but be careful because it does feel kind of flimsy, so it definitely could break if you do mess around with it a little bit too much. So yeah, guys, I think that should be it. There's really nothing else to go over. The figure is definitely a must-have if you are a Marth main or just like collecting Nendoroids in general. As you can see, as I mentioned earlier, the detail is extremely well done, and it's definitely a must-have. As for the pricing, it's actually not that expensive. It was around $30. I do know that there are some Legend of Zelda ones, such as Link, like in GameStop, and those do run a little bit more on the expensive side. But other than that, if you definitely should purchase him. As I mentioned earlier, if you are a fan of Marth, definitely recommend it. Until next time, guys, see you later.